I've always wanted to be creative. When I'm at a property, I'm at my calmest and most relaxed state. I disconnect completely. I don't think about anything else. My mind is fully focused on wanting to improve the land. And since it's rainy season, the perfect time to move my plants to the property is now. I decided to make a small shed for them. Originally, I wanted to move all my plants and plant them in their final places, but I couldn't do that yet because the driveway still needs to be finished. So I gathered all the materials I needed from around the property. I cut some bushes, some small trees to use for the structure. I don't want to spend money on this since it's only temporary. And imagine the pain of transporting materials to this part of the land. It would be so hard. Not only that, I decided to do it myself because I've lost trust in workers on the island. You pay the price they ask, and still they don't finish the job. Whether I pay or not, I get stressed either way. So I just do it myself. At least I save money. So I cut some trees myself. They're small trees, but they're nice and straight and good for construction, small construction like my project. These trees are very slow to grow, but I only need a few small ones to build the shed. What I'm doing may look like nothing, but it actually took me a week to cut all these trees I needed for the structure. But that's fair enough because I only work 2 hours every other day. I know it looks easy, but it's really exhausting. I plan to finish this in 2 weeks only, and I really thought I could, but it's harder than I expected. My energy is capped at 2 hours a day only, and I get hungry easily. The first 2 weeks were sunny, so it was more exhausting. But I still prefer that because I think it's harder to work when it's rainy and wet. I saw a worm with many hair. So it's a caterpillar and it's disgusting, and I'm gonna go back next time. It's enough for today. I also cut some of the dead trees from other parts of the land because I thought it would be easier to work with them since they're already dry, like this one. Although I still had to carry it to the area where I'm building the shed. But that's okay. The wood isn't big or heavy. I mean, what's all the working out for if I can't even carry a small log like this, right? My muscles can carry it pretty easily. And then I cleaned the area first where I wanted to build the shed. I removed some of the bushes before I started digging the holes for the posts. I used this manual earth auger that a subscriber gifted me through my Throne wish. If you guys want to send me gift, you can visit my Throne page and the link is on the description box below. And you can choose something you'd like to give. Most of the items on my page are for construction and gardening. I would also want to thank all the people in my YouTube and streaming community for all the gifts I have received. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful. I originally wanted to buy an electric earth auger for easier and faster construction, but some people in my community warned me about buying cheap power tools, that they could end up costing me more because they're not reliable, they break easily, or worse, I could lose a finger or a leg if I use a cheap faulty auger. I got scared, so I decided to go with this manual one instead. It's more exhausting to use, but definitely safer for me. I came back after 3 days and decided to gather some branches from fallen trees in the upper area of the property. These trees are fallen from the clearing of the driveway from the bulldozer. These are soft trees and they're perfect for the perimeter of the shed. I picked the straight ones and managed to collect around 15 of them. Carrying 15 sticks around the property at the same time is heavy, and it's a lot of work, so I figured I need to work smarter and not harder. I already work hard enough, so I think I deserve to be lazy once in a while. So since I was at the highest point of the property, I threw all the sticks downhill for faster material transport. I didn't film the rest of how I did it because it's still a lot of work, setting up the camera when you're alone, but I'm sure you can imagine how it was done. After gathering all the sticks, I nailed the bottom horizontal supports in place to make the structure sturdier. This shed doesn't need to be perfectly built or aesthetically pleasing, but it still has to be strong enough to hold itself during the rainy days and the windy days. To be honest, I still don't know exactly what it feels like here on the property when a typhoon passes by. I think one day I need to camp here overnight during a storm just to really feel it, for better planning and understanding of how the wind behaves in this area. Now it was time to use the sticks I gathered. I started weaving them around the perimeter of the shed. I came up with this idea because the sticks are flexible and thin, and the best part is I don't have to nail them into the posts. It saves materials, saves time, and it's sturdy enough for what I need. After that, I collected all the leaves from the trees I had cut earlier and used them to fill in the hollow space on the sloped part of the shed space. That way, I didn't need to dig up too much soil to level it. And while I was doing that, I took a quick glance at the view, and I noticed the rain was coming. It was literally raining in the distance and it was heading my way. So I quickly packed up and rushed uphill because that rain was definitely about to hit.
I got the rain on the way home. No, I'm actually on the direction of the rain, so the rain caught me on the way home.
No, actually the rain and I caught each other. I didn't make it. But I know this place so well. I can almost just tell by looking at the sky whether it's really going to rain or if the cloud is just passing by. But this one, it poured hard, really hard. When I get back to my apartment, the area around it was flooded. This is why I honestly hate the rainy season here. Everything gets muddy, everything feels dirty because nothing is well designed or properly developed in this area. I don't even have a proper kitchen, so when it pours, life gets harder. I can't wash the dishes, I can't cook. It just adds a layer of difficulty to the most basic things. And honestly, I think if you want to live in a place like this, in a rural or off-grid area, you have to develop your property properly. Don't just survive in it. Build it right. Plan ahead, because when the rain comes, it tests everything. It took me 4 days before I could come back because the weather hasn't been great lately. But during that time, I managed to grab some lemongrass I found growing on the side of the road. I planted the lemongrass around the area where I've been working because honestly, I've been slapping myself way too many times thanks to these hangry mosquitoes. I don't even know what my blood type is. I just know that mosquitoes love a specific type. And whatever that is, they love mine. And before I could even give up, my shoes gave up first.
Amazing.
2 days later, I gathered more leaves from around the property to use as the main wall for the shed. I'm literally just using anything I can find on the land. And honestly, I think that's okay. This isn't my house. It's just a temporary structure, so even if it collapses one day, I am totally fine with that. If you notice, I also tucked some lemongrass in my hair today so those bastards can't come near me again. And guess what? It worked. I didn't feel a single mosquito bite today. Finally, peace. I gathered even more leaves to help fill up the lower part of the shed. Then it was time to start working on the lintels. And of course, I struggled again with the nailing. I still don't know if it's the wrong nail gauge or the wood is just too hard, or maybe it's my mini hammer. I'm using this tiny little thing with almost no leverage. So no surprise, I wasn't able to nail all the wood together as planned. I'm going to tie them up instead to stabilize everything. It's not fancy, but it works. After that, I dug up some soil to fill in the area a little bit more. The goal was to create an even surface. It doesn't have to be perfectly level. I just wanted it filled up and usable. I went back and forth, I think 35 times over the course of 2 days. I can't believe I actually did that. That's a lot of work. It was honestly kind of boring, but I had to do it. Not bad. After a week, I finally finished the structure and started moving some of my plants just to test if they could survive in this setup or if I needed to make more improvements, especially on the ground. It was hot that day and I was worried the seedlings might get grilled out there. So the next day, I went to the town and bought a mesh to use as the main roofing material. The first thing I needed to do was sew the edges to make sure that the strands didn't unravel. A week later, I finally stapled the mesh onto the frame and it turned out perfect. It gives just the right amount of shade for the plants, I think, but I still felt it wasn't enough. So I decided to add some leaves on top for extra shade. Now, I think this is just right. It's not too hot for the plants anymore, and at the same time, the rainwater won't pour down too harshly on them. It's the kind of setup that works with nature, and that's exactly what I was aiming for. Finally, I was able to transport the rest of the plant. I really struggled with this one because I just improvised the carrier and it's not very stable. And I had to drive slowly the whole time because I was scared the plants might fall off while I'm driving. And luckily, I managed to get them all to the shed safely. I also added more coconut leaves onto the one side of the shed to give extra shade during the middle of the day when the sun is the harshest. I chose this specific area of the property for the plants because it's a bit hidden from the upper part where the driveway is. It's farther out and more tucked away, which makes it harder to access for people who might trespass or people who just wander around the property. I mean, imagine coming back and seeing that some of my plants are gone. Oh, I would be very pissed. Anyway, this is how it looks now. After everything's been set up, it's been raining a lot this past few days, so I think my plants will be perfectly fine here for now. And I'll see you guys in the next update.